If you've never heard of guide fingers before, amazing, you're about to learn what they are, why we need them, and how to use them. And if you have heard of guide fingers before, but you haven't really been using them, let's get you back on track to crushing your left hand technique. So, what are guide fingers? Guide fingers with your left hand make a physical connection with the string between two different positions that you're moving between. We want to stay touching the string and use it like a train going along train tracks, because if you let go of the string, your hand loses the string's orientation in space, and then when you move and when you land, that landing is going to be approximated. If you're 1 millimeter out, you're going to have to adjust the finger. This adjustment takes time. If it takes time, your playing's not going to be as smooth or as fast as you want it to be. But on the flip side, if you keep your finger on the string, you don't need to press it all the way down like a slide, but you can let go of the pressure so it's not touching the fret and dart along the string. This will mean that your hand will land exactly where you want it to land. You'll maintain your accuracy, you'll push up your speed, and you'll make your playing overall much easier. And this will allow you to jump into much more complicated music. So here's an example of a more extreme guide finger being used. If I start on my D chord, standard D chord here, with fingers 1, 2, and 3 in the triangle, and if I want to now move up to my bar D up at fret 10, so this is first finger barring on fret 10, so we've got 10 on the first string, 10 on the second string, and 11 on the third string. To move between these two chords, I can use my index finger, finger 1, on string 3, slide this up as my hand rotates along the way, and then land in the high chord. This is going to have a much faster position shift than you would normally get when playing these two chords. I use guide fingers everywhere I can for position shifts, even if I have to crowbar one in to get one happening, because the second you let go of the frets, let go of the string, your hand has no memory for where they were. That is why you can jump to another place and your accuracy is going to be, as I was saying before, approximated. Guide fingers, by keeping that contact on the string, you have all of the information that your hand has in this position, and by not letting go, you don't let go of that information, it just transfers almost like using the string as a network cable from one position to the other. That is where our accuracy comes from. Now, there are a few advanced guide finger techniques for if there isn't an obvious finger that connects the two positions. Let's go into those. So let's say you don't have an obvious finger that connects the two positions, like in that previous example where we have your first finger connecting up to your first finger higher up. What we can do then is slide on one of the fingers we have and swap either as we land or on the way. As you see there, what's happening is my first finger sliding up, my second finger joins in so I don't lose contact, then my first finger can move, and that happens as we're sliding up the string. So now you can connect two positions even if the shapes, the chords you're playing aren't sharing a finger along the same string. We can get around that by swapping the finger as we go. And if this still doesn't work with the shift that you're trying to do, there is one other way we can use that I call ghost guide fingers to be able to connect even more awkward position shifts. Let's get into that one. Ghost guide fingers are when you can't swap a finger along the way. Instead, what we can do is put on a finger that we haven't yet been using and we're not intending to use. So if I put my fourth finger on there, as I move, I can swap around my other fingers and then take the fourth finger off when it's appropriate to do so. I haven't used the fourth finger to start with, and I didn't use it at the end of the guide, but it's still connected the two positions with maintaining that contact on the string. So as a quick recap, what are guide fingers? Guide fingers are using a constant contact along the string, using it like a train track to be able to connect the positions and maintain the same level of accuracy you had in your original position. Why do we need guide fingers? If you don't maintain this contact, if you let go of the string, your hand loses its orientation just enough so that your next note will be inaccurate. You're either going to slightly miss it or end up between the strings. This will slow down your movement and leave you needing to adjust between the notes rather than just landing and playing at the same time. And what techniques we have to be able to use guide fingers? The most obvious one is choosing fingers that are going to be the same between two positions. So in our example, we had a first finger guiding up to the first finger again, so we just have the same finger being used, maintain contact. The second technique is going to be swapping your finger along the way, where you can't force the same finger to be used. Then, as you're moving, maintaining contact, you can swap between the fingers. As you see here, I'm on finger 1, now I'm on finger 2, back to finger 1. At no point have I let go of the string. And finally, ghost guide fingers are for when none of this works and you still want to push in that high level of accuracy. If you have to, you can add an extra finger that you didn't need in your previous chord and you're not going to need in your next chord. This finger is just here to keep maintaining contact on the string, guide between the positions so that you maintain your accuracy. These ghost guide fingers don't come up that often, but when they do, it's usually a hard piece, and this is usually when they're needed the most. So I want to know, if you've never heard of guide fingers, let me know in the chat. If you have heard of guide fingers, but you aren't using them in all of the places, also tell me about how you've been finding them, why you haven't been using them. What I've seen over hundreds of students is anytime there's a guide finger that can be used, it pushes forward accuracy. It's just the mechanics behind your guitar playing. It has nothing to do with style. It will 100% push forward your technique. So give it a go, and this channel's here to be a resource for all guitar technique ideas that are high level to push forward your playing. So like, subscribe, engage with the channel so you can help it grow. This I want to grow as a hub for you so that you can have all the information you need. If you want to know more about harmonics on the guitar, I've broken down the basics and the advanced version in a video right over here, or in a series I should say. It's in 2 videos. This is video number 1. Check that out, see some of the science behind how harmonics work, because it will drastically improve your tone even if you're not playing harmonics. I'll see you in there.